Hello everyone and welcome back to the workbench. Today I'm going to be bringing you my review of the Ruger SR9c handgun. Before we get started, this firearm of course is completely unloaded. There is nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine well, no ammunition in the magazine, and no ammunition present on the workbench. This firearm, as of October 2015, has an MSRP of $529. The cheapest I could find brand new was $375. And an average price of about $425. This is a semi-automatic striker-fired pistol. It, of course, is compact, thus the C. It is chambered in the 9x19 Luger or 9mm cartridge. The average cost for that ammunition right now runs about 27 cents a round for the Winchester White Box and about 79 cents a round for the Hornady Critical Defense Personal Protection ammunition. The frame material is a black glass-filled nylon. The slide material is a brushed stainless steel, and both are in a matte finish. The weight of the unloaded gun, as you see it, is 20.5 ounces. The weight of the empty magazine is 2.6 ounces. Together they weigh 23.05 ounces. The weight of a full magazine, 10 rounds, is 6.7 ounces. The weight of the loaded gun with a full magazine plus one is 27.55 ounces. The overall length of this firearm, as measured from the muzzle to the back of the frame here, is 6.84 inches, and the overall height, which is measured from the top of the sights to the bottom of the magazine base plate extension, is 5.25 inches. The overall width of the slide is 1.03 inches. The overall width of the grip is 1.19 inches, and the widest part of the gun is 1.31 inches, and it's actually the ambidextrous safety. The barrel length is 3.5 inches, and the magazine capacity is 10 rounds. They do, of course, sell this firearm with a 17-round magazine included in non-compliant states. The trigger pull weight is 5.2 pounds, and the trigger type is a double action only. The sights are a 3-dot drift adjustable front, windage and elevation adjustable rear, and these sights are made from polymer. The safeties on this firearm include an ambidextrous thumb safety, a trigger safety, and a loaded chamber indicator, as you can see here and there. The intended purpose for this firearm was concealment. Ruger wanted to come in and offer up a double-stack concealable 9mm handgun. Unique features on this firearm include the ambidextrous magazine release as well as the ambidextrous safety. It also has a single-point Picatinny rail, so anything that you can attach to a compact rail system or a compact pistol will fit on this one. Options include a reversible backstrap here, so that it's flat on one side and arched on the other, depending on your preference. Accessory availability, lights and lasers, really anything designed for compact pistols. There are many holster options available, sight upgrades of course, and magazines. As I said, it comes with a 10-round magazine, which comes with a standard flush base plate. It also comes with this pinky extension base plate, and then where available and where legal, it does come with a 17-round magazine as well. Now, to get into what you really tuned in for, my opinions on this firearm specifically as it relates to firing the firearm. I would say first and foremost that the gun is somewhat comfortable in the hand. I wouldn't say that it is uncomfortable, but it's definitely not something I'm going to want to shoot many rounds through. And the reason I say that is actually because of the grip. As you can see here, with a standard flush base plate, it's almost got a Glock 26 or 27-esque grip in that you get your two fingers around it and your pinky just kind of sticks to the bottom underneath the flush base plate, which is why I really do prefer the extended pinky base plate on the magazine. I like to get a nice full grip. That's not my biggest complaint with this grip. It actually has to do with where the back of the grip terminates in my hand. If I hold this firearm like I'm going to shoot it, you can see it kind of stops on the bump of the heel of my hand. I think if Ruger had added another ½ inch, maybe a little bit more than a ½ inch to this firearm, it would feel more comfortable, but it would also allow for a 12+1 capacity. I think they really kind of dropped the ball on that one. I think they could have gotten another 2 rounds and made it more comfortable to shoot if they had given it another ½ inch. And really and truly, the majority of people who want a comfortable firearm to shoot and have the most control over it are going to put this base plate on anyway. So they could have easily angled it something like this and had it come down a little bit more, and it would have been much more comfortable to hold, and they could have gotten 2 more rounds in it. That said, the recoil is very, very manageable. This gun's a little heavier up top, but it's proportionate. And the recoil is extremely manageable, allowing for quick follow-up shots. I'm not a fan of the trigger angle. It has nothing to do with how the trigger pulls or feels. It's just how far out it is. I'm not a big fan of the angle of the trigger. The trigger pull itself is very crisp, very predictable. Of course, being double action only, you can see it cock everything back and then drop it forward. The reset, very nice reset, ready to go. Once it resets, it doesn't have any travel beyond that point. It's ready to go. You don't have to pull it back and almost stage it at that point. It's ready to go. That said, again, I don't like the angle of the trigger, but the trigger pull itself is just fine. Before we break this down, I want to show you a little accuracy with it. This is a loaned firearm, so I wasn't going to mess with the sights on it at all. And this gun did shoot very low and left for me. I said the recoil management was easy, but as you can see here, I have a 6.5-inch spread. This is probably my worst spread at 10 yards, and I own another Ruger firearm. I actually own the predecessor to this, the P95, and the P95 is the most accurate shooting firearm that I own, and I think my spread on that was 3.125 inches or something. It was literally half of that number. So I don't understand quite what happened here. Could have just been a flyer, I'm not sure. It might have been the ammunition that I was using. I use extremely inexpensive ammunition when I test these guns because I only have them for a limited time, and I figure if I'm going to get a malfunction, it's going to be with the cheapest ammunition I can find. Also, if you have this gun for personal protection, you're probably not going to run cheap ammunition through it. You're going to run a high-quality personal defense round. So if it'll cycle the bad stuff, it will cycle the good stuff. That said, 6.5-inch spread really isn't acceptable in my opinion. But as you can see, I started to actually knock the clothespin off of the shot here. But there's another round here, a few of them over here. I knocked the clothespin off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 4 were in a decent group. I'm not exactly sure what happened with that round, but that's reality. You know, so if a bad guy was attacking me at 10 yards, would it have hit him? Maybe. Depends on where these rounds were hitting. But if this is center mass, that's still hitting. But basketball-sized group is, in my opinion, acceptable for a concealed personal defense firearm. Most of your engagements, should you ever need to deploy it, are probably going to be more at 10 feet versus 10 yards, in which case this group would have been much tighter. All right, let's get into breaking this firearm down. It breaks down very similar to its predecessor, the P95, in that you have to rotate that down, whoops, in there, and then you need to press on this pin. Now, I have found this to be extremely difficult. So the easiest way that I have found to do it is with a punch. But if you don't have a punch, you can of course use the magazine base and just give it a good hard push. What that's going to do is it's going to push out this other side, as you can see right here. Then just wiggle it out and it's free, and the firearm comes right apart. Once apart, you can see you have a dual capture recoil spring. However, it is on what appears to be a polymer guide rod. This part here is kind of feels like metal, but that part is definitely polymer. And it has, I don't know, maybe those are just my eyes, but it almost appears to have a little bit of a bend to it. This firearm has not been shot that much that the guide rod should be worn out. That is something that I personally would keep my eye on. Every couple hundred rounds or so, I'd take it out and do a quick look over and see if maybe I could upgrade that. The barrel is, as you can see here, it's 3.5 inches, and if I give you a shot of the rifling maybe on the inside, standard rifling, nothing really special about that. Reassembly, opposite of disassembly. And I have found putting this guide rod back in, when I push it, it does feel like it flexes a little bit. So again, that would be something I would keep my eye on. There we go. So now with that together, go ahead and lock it to the rear. And then you just reinsert your takedown pin. Like such. And you're good to go. Once you can either insert the magazine to push that lever back up, or you could just reach in and pull that lever back up. That is the last step of reassembly. My final thoughts on this firearm: I think it's a very good firearm for personal protection. I think it's a little heavy for a concealed carry option, and I also think its round count at 10 is slightly less than others in the category of a double stack concealable 9mm handgun. Comparing it to a Glock, the Glock I think would be a little bit lighter. I also think the Glock is going to be a little bit more reliable. Again, I go back to that guide rod, and it doesn't look like it's going to stand up to the amount of rounds that a Glock could. I really don't think it would. But that said, I think Ruger stands behind what they make, and should you ever have a problem, you can always reach out to them and they will work to remedy the situation. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll talk to you all again very soon.